Welcome back, one and all, to Dreamworks Dungeons and Dragons.
Dreamworks Dungeons and Dragons!
I'm your Dungeon Master, August Schmidt, and with me, of course, is this party in no particular order. This week, we'll start in the middle. Marissa playing Hunk, Mason playing Moses, Lonnie playing Nana, Megan playing Tulio, Hannah playing Elizabeth, and Nick as Bob the Tomato. Last we saw the party, you had made it to the edge of the Nile, evading some of these guards who noticed Moses from his past. You were all able to split up and make a bit of a plan, sending Tulio and Bob over across the Nile towards the floating city of Egypt that you had found. Tulio and Bob, after a brief run-in with a hippopotamus, made it to the city, stealthed their way through, and overheard very carefully some of the priests of Ra meeting with other high priests of these Egyptian gods, talking about this god that the pharaoh had, and this statue, and some of these powers that actually, from Bob and Tulio's insights, they may have seemed a little bit frightened and unnerved themselves, which is odd. Wait until morning, the rest of the party, you all lashed together a raft, making it across the Nile in good time. Were able to catch a ride with a fisherman who introduced you to a bit of the history of Egypt in the nicest of ways. Moses with a nat 20 keeping his hood down the whole time. But of course, yes, Egypt had quite the bad years, many plagues ending with the death of thousands of Egyptian children, until you all made it there, finding this obelisk as a memorial to this, and learning that something had happened where now there is a godly magic, so says the common man, that keeps Egypt upborne the Nile. Tulio and Bob, you were able to find the observatory, asking one of the researchers there about the meteor piece, who they didn't have a bunch, but said that they could acquisition some records for you. Meeting up with the party, starting to talk about this, the same researchers came back saying that they've had some records they could show you now, but it turned out to be a bit of a trap. Apparently, by Pharaoh's order himself, anyone asking about the meteor was to be taken to him, brought before the Pharaoh Ramses, trying very carefully through some deceptions and subtlety to not reveal Moses before your friends were murdered.
We succeeded. He was just going to kill us anyway, but we succeeded in the deception.
We did.
Moses, you
deceivers.
introduced yourself, revealing your location,
Not very good livers.
which Ramses invited
better
you
than
in,
Moses.
and through a horrific turn of events, showed his power, was able to strike you and kill you with one blow, and holding magic prowess to revive you within the same turn, so to speak, with some of those legendary actions.
Did his job.
Again, the rest of the party starting to do some of these careful checks of what's going on, trying to steal his sword, where Ramses apparently, again, high perception, whatever power he has now, again, those last words you heard, Moses, I have my own God now. Moses, you feel that pure exhaustion. Again, the human body is not meant to die multiple times and come back over.
No, it's not.
As Moses, you fall into this unconscious state. The rest of the party, you see thousands of guards have started flooding into this throne room, probably on the beck and call of the Pharaoh himself.
How many times did Moses die again?
Specifically, keeping count, Moses, you died 7 times.
That's
Not
a
as
holy
many as I
number.
expected.
Holy number, but indeed, in combat 3, but 4 additional times, but out of combat, just to show he could. Just kept snapping your neck with a fist and then bringing you back. As
At least it's a fairly painless way to die. All big
that, what really made
He
it,
could
I
have
would say,
eviscerated you 7 times.
as the party, you see the guards are
Yeah.
circling in. Moses, you kept getting flashes of, I mean this quite literally, the other side. Of one hit, because you were full dead, not even death save throws, you would see eyes blinking in. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. I want to see how much.
Can we aid him at all or no?
That's cool.
To the other side?
I will say, I don't think anyone can aid him right now because no one else died, thankfully.
Okay.
Moses was the only one who was going through that experience.
That's fair.
It's kind of the experience of if someone was opening and closing curtains really fast, and that's what Moses was seeing, is how much you
Have
remember.
you heard that church
Before
talk?
we
Actually,
The
yeah,
one
they
through
did.
the,
Yeah, that's
Before we
yeah.
leave
I got a
the
bardic.
throne room,
Bardic,
am
yeah,
I
Moses.
allowed to make a check?
What's
Before
our
we leave the
six?
throne room? It can be
Oh,
after
yes.
this.
Yes. Because you guys will be making checks.
If
There's
we're
stuff.
throwing in a bardic, put a check in a guidance.
Ooh.
I will say yes. Yeah, I think
Okay.
both of those are helpful magics that aren't based on like
Being
necessity of
physically
like
there.
it's that magic of like we just know as a rogue and a bard like let's help our
We're
friend.
helping
For
him
flavor
with good
text, I'm
feelings.
praying for him.
Oh.
This tomato, yeah, half kneeled in prayer.
You know what? That's fair.
Supplication to
If you're gonna
the
pray
god.
at any time, this is a good time to do so.
I think that Hunk is probably hurling. I
Yeah.
think if he saw, he throws up anyway, but just have
It's
seen
horrific.
him
You
die, I think
kept
I'm
hearing
throwing up.
all the upper
Yeah.
vertebrae
Yeah.
I'm
snap
definitely throwing
back,
up.
snap,
Yeah.
crack. It's quite terrifying what just happened.
Really loud Rice Krispies.
Oh,
If you've ever had celery just over and over,
Ugh.
It's a sharper
I don't
sound than
need
that,
the
actually.
description.
I'm sorry. I'm done.
It's good.
Hey, August.
It's good.
Dirty 20.
A dirty 20.
Oh, yeah.
Moses, you kept
He
seeing
needed those boosts, by the way.
over and over.
All the boosts and only under
Your eyes, it's as if you kept coming out of like a sandstorm where particles would fade and you saw before you a stretching astral-like plane of beautiful starlight and purples and blues. And just as you would see boom, back in the second time, you're noticing it's reflective of this surface like glass water on this bank where you're saying boom, boom. Third time, it's almost like the Nile. You're realizing the river stretching astrally. Bruh, is this some of your memories? Boom, boom. Fourth time, you see a figure standing there, hand outstretched towards you. Boom, boom. Fifth time, the figure is closer now. You see a humanoid man standing, looking deep into your eyes, eyes reflected of the astral sea. Boom, boom. Sixth time, the man is gone and you are simply alone on this Nile bank of astral sea. Boom, boom. Seven,
Holy number.
you hear just a simple voice that you would recognize as Gabriel's. Your work is not yet finished. And feel a hand, echoing Pharaoh's hand on your chest, push you down into the sand as back into the mortal plane. You see that last look, Ramses, fist covered in just blood, smiling, let you go, and as you drop to the ground, you will fade into unconsciousness.
August, that was one of the coolest lines.
Yeah.
Just-
For the rest of the party, as you're being surrounded by guards,
You out of heaven.
Right?
for the rest of the party, what are things people want to do? Because I know, yeah, people are saying checks or things as guards are surrounding.
I can wait a second. Someone else can act first if they want to.
How many guards?
You would guess like thousands, because it's like, oh, there's like a good hundreds of rows, each stretching hundred. Like it looks like the full
So we
might.
can't fight our way out.
I'm actually okay to go where they're going to take us because we think Aaron might be there. Like we've talked about maybe being where we're going. So it'd be interesting to see if he's there. And most likely, if wherever we're going, it's not going to be that heavily guarded because they're going to assume whatever box we're in will contain us, right? So I'm okay to go if you guys are. I won't put up.
It's very fair.
I just don't want Moses to be taken elsewhere. I'm afraid he's gonna try and separate him.
So
I
what
say
if
we
we
stay
surround?
close. Yes.
We could surround him.
I
I
like
would
it.
like to surround Moses.
So like taking a couple again, these larger by Hunk and Elizabeth, and I would say even Nana, because Bob and Tulio, you're more on the like small, scrawny that, but still forming
I
that
wouldn't call Tulio
close
scrawny.
circle
He's a little
around Moses.
Alright.
Go ahead.
It's
I
either
would
top
say
wall.
because Tulio and Bob.
Can we all hold hands and gather around Moses?
I think so. It's Tulio and Bob. You're doing the guidance bardics right now, but Hunk and Elizabeth, if you want to give me, we'll call it a persuasion check. That like we're not going without Moses. Like don't split us
Which
up.
probably means Ramses in the circle with Moses that we're circling or not?
Very much. Yeah, Ramses would be in the circle, but it's enough that like if Ramses is also in the circle, you don't think the guards are gonna start stabbing
Right.
you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I just want to check it's a persuasion.
Yes, a persuasion.
While
Yeah.
they're all drawing the focus to Moses, can I then focus on Ramesses' sword you said was made of obsidian? I have stone cutting. When you make a history check related to the origin of stonework, you are considered proficient in the history skill. Add double your proficiency bonus in the check.
Indeed.
Okay.
For sure, go ahead and make this check. Adding double your proficiency.
So it'll only be a
Uh,
+4.
Yeah, learn about some of the make of this weapon. this obsidian kopesh.
That's an 18 plus 4, 22.
22. So
13, but not a nat 13.
synthetic 13 and
I got
19.
I believe. Let me double check.
The guards surround you. Again, you see, while they have spears and scimitars at their side, none of them are pressing forward. The men and women here just surrounding you do seem to hold, as Ramses, who has now dropped Moses, kind of like takes his hand and whips out a quick cloth and wipes it. And you see he turns, noticing this. Take them down to the prisons. But put Moses in the separate cage.
No. Let our Moses go.
Let our Moses go. You, as you say this again, bringing in some of that from earlier. Fine. Keep the corpse. And you see Ramses kind of spit onto Moses, and as he passes through you guys, the guards just open up a line back to the throne for him. That will make, so, Lauren, that was a 21?
22.
22.
If it makes any difference.
As Ramses passes up to the throne, you see he goes where Elizabeth had kind of dropped where the sword had jutted into the stone, and Elizabeth was bringing it out. Ramses is picking up the sword again. You're quickly noticing this does seem to be a well-fashioned stone blade, something that must have taken time and effort. The metallic piece that kind of like etches almost very lightning bolt-esque into the metal very much seems to have been placed there.
Yeah, I was gonna say obsidian is one of the most difficult stones to work with because it's so brittle.
And
It's
yet,
sharp.
you would know then whatever placed it in there was magical, meaning you're going to need not only a physical component to break it out, but some sort of magical to unbind the two.
At one point we had talked about Bob being hidden. Is Bob hidden still?
I
In
think
Tulio?
right now Bob
Well,
was.
but Bob and I were both talking to him, so everyone
Exactly.
knows Bob's
Yeah.
here. Even if we
Yeah.
tried to hide him, they know he exists.
Okay,
Yes.
I was just
that
hoping
was
he
an
was
earlier
hidden.
thing of
He could
when
get us out.
arriving to
Yeah, it
Egypt.
was a really
What
good
if Bob's
idea,
hidden?
but-
Because our whole
Um,
plan was like, we go in and just try and knock him down, and then
Yeah.
that worked, because he's a dick.
Yep,
That's
exactly.
correct.
The party then, as guards are going to start taking you all up by the arm, I need to go through. Bob, you don't have any big physical things to be taken from you,
Or arms.
or arms.
That's
So,
fair. Do they let
We
me keep
can't
my
disarm
bag?
him.
I have some costumes, but that's about all I have.
They would then take your bag of costume, the little like side pouchy for this
How
vegetable.
does a pouch even stay on your purse, your
Have you seen like a baby Bjorn, which is like an X cross with like a little pouch, but like from the side?
okay.
Like,
So when they're taking it, can I just pitch them? Be like, hey, let me know if Pharaoh needs a good gesture.
you see one of the guards says,
That closer to me.
"I'll let him know if he wants a caprese salad."
That was really funny.
Bob,
That was
what's a
great.
caprese salad?
Yeah.
Wait.
Hunk's like, oh no.
Elizabeth, they are going to take your sword, axes, and javelins. They are going to take your armor and the stone and figurine from you as part of your pack as well.
Okay, so I'm just curious, what is my AC without my armor?
Without your
It's
armor,
going to be 8
it's
plus.
going to be 14.
Okay.
Yes,
So
because
I'll
it.
just make sure I don't have them on then.
Yep.
Because you're a barbarian, right?
Hunk,
So you
they
had your
are going to
dex and
take
your
the
con.
Bayard from you,
Oh, not my Bayard.
as well as the battle axe and blowgun you have.
Fixed bow.
You don't have, again, you don't thankfully have too much, so it's not like they're taking any big packs or anything from you, but it is that, like, that's the big weapon. All of you would watch, they will take Moses' staff from him, as well as just underneath some of this pack across his back, the javelins, lances, and leathers as well. They will leave, though, the quarterstaff, Moses, because that is obvious, like, it's a stick. I mean, your better staff, most of these guards, you actually, if you were awake, would probably realize they were here when you first arrived, so
Yeah.
they know what the staff
The
means.
last stick
Um,
he gave a player
It's
That's
true.
true.
I give good sticks.
Sticky.
Nana,
She
they're
never
going to take
appreciated
your great sword and
She
hand
still
axes,
doesn't.
as well as your chainmail and ring.
My ring.
Mhm.
It doesn't even work right now.
I know, my magical items don't work either.
Mhm.
I still don't.
As well as your shield, and just the big packs.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
that's a base for everyone's. Like they're not gonna let you keep anything. Tulio,
Can I like make a quick check? Like obviously I've got the like noticeable stuff like the rapier and the short bow, but because like my daggers are small, can I keep like a sleight of hand to like keep those hidden or
I
at least
think
the magical one?
being a rogue, I'd allow it. It's a quick sleight of hand of like right before they grab everything, like either put it down near the boots or like up like that kind of back inner thigh behind the knee, like like we're to these
Daggers.
I got it, guys, but I can't sit for a week.
Oh.
That's what he meant by
I
prison
doubt that
wallet.
I ever.
Can I add a guidance to this?
Do I still have my?
No, because I'm gonna say this is the same grabbing with the guidance to Moses.
There are 3 things that I would have kept like on my person instead of in my pack. The 2 things that I was intending as snake things, would they have taken those?
I'll check that.
He was plural.
They would have taken both.
Okay.
of those.
Well,
Last
that was
thing-
my first and last electronic roll of the night.
14. I will tell you that's probably not for maybe one thing, but I'll probably have to pick.
Okay.
The last thing I would have asked to keep, see if I could keep, is a trophy from wars I fought, a piece of a banner.
They would not have taken the banner piece.
Excellent.
That is simple cloth.
Is
But
it a simple cloth?
It is.
It
But I
is.
have an
bet
idea.
you can use that to
It's
garrot
something.
somebody.
here
That's
we
bad
go.
security.
Garrote.
they will take Tulio the good dagger, of course, your arrows, bolts, and crossbow, leather and disguise kit, and rapier, short bow, everything. Basically, they take everything from Tulio, I will say, except Tulio, left hand, right hand. Left hand. You will be able to smuggle 1 arrow right along your side in that very now you see me of like as they're grabbing arrows, you do that clever like you spill them, and so as they kind of go everywhere, you
Like
flip.
Jasmine with the spoons.
Very much, but like
Yes.
1 arrow you kind of like flick up into your shirt, and as they pat you down, you just like let the arrow shimmy down into your boots. Like so, Tulio, you will have an arrow which, for properties of D&D, does work like a dagger if you need to, but it does instantly break if you're using it like a dagger.
Okay. I will take it.
As again, all of you pat down your supplies, all of you would notice all of the equipment is taken the same direction. It doesn't look like they all split off, but there are a couple key guards that take this big bundle now of packs, weapons, and are taking them out north of the palace somewhere, like outside. For the rest of you, being led down out of the palace initially, down the steps, what everyone but Moses would see, congregations have formed amongst the palm trees here of people, where as you're being led down, again, you can't summon the entire city guard without people showing up wondering what's going on. As the Egyptians see Moses being drug out, immediate jeering, booing, screaming occurs. All of you watch Moses' body becomes covered in trash, refuse, rotten vegetables to Bob's horrific eyes, and even some stuff you hope could just be mud or silt, but Moses is very much, as you are brought down this horrific parade of just the Egyptians, now that their most hated enemy probably is here, they are not happy. Heading out of the palace in that idea of looking at the map, you are brought first out of the palace, but before brought to the river, you are turned leftwards and start heading towards this building with like beautiful turquoise domed roof, which as you get close, you all start seeing they have intricate wrought iron bars that seem to be on the windows, and you notice for Tulio and Bob, especially saying this earlier, the groups of slaves that were running these like paint brushes throughout the city are coming in and out of the city as a whole. Entering in, a grand dungeon starts appearing, which doesn't seem to be very deep below the city. As you could guess, again, the Nile isn't what we would call deep, but this is below water level, is important to note. The things that anyone conscious would notice, there are a lot of prison cells down here that seem to be filled with, for the majority, these Hebrews and Israelites. They don't seem to be in any capacity really Egyptian, so maybe like there's a normal jail somewhere, but these definitely look like specific cells that were created. And as you make it to the end of this block, all of you will be thrown into this rather large open space.
Were there other people in the jail cell?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
With us? Is that with us?
Not with us, just in
Just
different ones.
around,
Yeah.
yes, there were.
And we're in our
yeah,
own.
I assumed like a classic prison where there's like bars and stuff.
These are bars, and you can tell about 10 feet behind you guys, while there is that sandstone wall, it is wet with that moisture and condensation. You can tell, again, the river is on the other side. That initial reaction of if these stones were to break, you would be underwater and
Yeah.
under the city.
So not a good place to be. Huh?
It's maybe if you have like a wild constitution score, because it would then be having to get out and like swim under the city
And
And-
against the current.
and against the current, and there are wildlife in the Nile. Like
I think
never.
I have exactly +0 to Constitution, so maybe
fair.
let's not do that.
It's okay, I have another idea.
As you were all thrown in,
Or
what would
we
people
send
then want to
the
say?
and Moses'
Devious
corpse.
out that way and
Moses
I hide.
is thrown in with you, correct? You were able to get a high enough. Just it wasn't
Nice
a crazy.
job, you guys.
I would like to talk to the Hebrews next to us to figure out why they're here, because I have a feeling there's some racial stuff going on. I mean, race is
Yeah.
not
Just a
Race
little
conscious
hunch.
dragon.
Just a little hunch that racism exists. But no,
I mean, they have slavery, so.
Elizabeth, you kind of peek out. Again, the cell you're in is by far probably the biggest down here. Immediately to your left, there seems to be a bit of a corridor, like a wraparound corridor leading to somewhere else still down here. But on your right, you see the rest of these cell blocks where a couple of these Hebrews are sitting, one sitting kind of like picking at his fingernails, another, this woman kind of across the way from you, is like gazing just kind of like straight up at the ceiling in a very despondent look. Would you like to talk to either of those two first, or would you like to call down maybe at further inmates beyond?
We can try these people. I probably don't see Mary saying, but I'd rather talk to someone.
I think
versus
despondent
yelling.
might be saying.
While she's doing that, may I be doing something else?
Yeah.
My piece of banner. A banner is quite large, so a piece of a banner could be quite large. Could I start ripping it into strips and then tying those strips together?
Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Can I ask how wide the bars are apart?
The bars seem to be about a foot apart, where definitely like Bob could hop through at any point in time.
Okay.
I will let you know though, there was the seeming only one way in or out, which was guarded by a couple different guards.
Is there a key on the door?
There's no key on the door. Key did seem to go away with the guards
Okay.
themselves.
Is there a key? There's a key.
Yeah.
It's the cutest face ever.
Into the locking mechanism. Is he small enough?
I would say
Ooh.
Bob might be able to use his stem to try to pick the lock. It might kill you though,
Well,
because
I
it's
had a
equivalent of using
different
your hand to try to like.
If I remember correctly, we have exactly one female of the group, which is you, right? Do you have
That is
like
true.
an old lady bun with like hairpins?
I do! Nana canonically does.
She
She knits.
Let's go ahead and make a pure sleight of hand
Because
or
I'm
a pure
assuming
luck
I
check.
took my
Okay.
thieves' tools,
Um,
but
Yeah, oh
that
yes, because
percentile
tools
is
and
at
stuff would have been in
D20.
bags.
but
and
if
stuff.
she's got like a
Question.
hairpin that I can try
I
and
got another
repurpose.
13 plus 1 on the
Nice,
side hand.
Megan.
14. It's pretty good looking though.
Okay, that's a 15 on the luck check.
Yeah, you'll have 2 bobby pins.
2 bobby pins or 2 knitting needles?
2 bobby pins.
Okay,
So I
well
could
that's
use
better
them
for a
Or
luck
well,
base.
or bits of metal that have been pinched to create that like cramp pin to keep.
Excellent. So you've got 2 crimp pins, bobby pins.
So I don't think I want to until we have a plan, but it's definitely
2
Like a part of a
pins,
plan.
an arrow. I will say you have a decent amount. It looks like 25 feet of rope. Well,
With
rope
my-
is
with
a
my
very
banner.
generous term.
Excellent.
It might
Yeah.
break if too much stress occurs. One arrow, 2 crimp bobby pins, 25 feet of quote unquote rope, and a bob the tomato that technically can fit through the bars.
I have a question.
Does anyone have healing?
Yeah.
I do not.
Bob just
Should
had
we bring Moses back up or no?
Well,
Is
he's
he
only
just-
at 1, right?
Yeah, he's
Moses,
just at
it's
one.
at 1. It's just Moses currently asleep
Oh.
as well.
Oh, he's unconscious. Yeah.
So-
Okay.
I have a question for you, August.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Shanghai Noon?
Yes, I
Do
know
you
where you're
remember
going.
What
how
did
they
he do?
got
Remind
out of
me.
the jail cell?
No.
When
Wait,
shirt
the
gets
shirt
wet,
that
no
was-
break.
So the thing is, someone put that to the test and tried it, and it worked. So
What is it
I
that
was
they do
wondering if
again?
I could ask our lovely only male friend who is not a tomato to
We have
be
two
on
male
the
friends.
banner.
That does imply
Julio.
Moses is
And-
a
oh, I
tomato.
Okay,
That
Yeah,
implies
we're all
Hunk and
three
Moses
ladies.
are
With the
tomatoes.
quarterstaff.
Wait,
that is
what?
true.
They
I
do
know, so I got
remind
the
me-
banner. You
Hey,
got the
will you
quarterstaff.
remind me how it goes in Shanghai?
So basically, he took a shirt and tore it into strips to make a rope type thing. Peed all over because wet cloth is stronger and is able to stand more weight and is stretchier. And then wrapped it around 2 bars and put a broken chair leg, but he's got a quarterstaff, and then used that to twist the rope and it bends the bars.
We could do that, or I could just pick the lock.
I know,
Which is
but
why
I
we
wasn't
call
sure.
it
There's a
if
couple
it
ways.
was.
I think the real key is you guys are
That's
all able to realize
hilarious.
while you are, shall we say, incarcerated, it doesn't seem like you're like stuck. It's not like, oh dang, we're like ruined.
Guys, I got one
But
in.
I am gonna cut as like Nana making this rope again, taking some time. Elizabeth, which of these inmates did you want to try talking to first?
The one that looks the most sane.
Gotcha.
So the one that's
Just phone
probably just
woman.
the one who's probably just like floating into space.
You
I'm
call
not sure
across.
if it would be a good or a bad thing to like talk to people.
You
Maybe
do.
there's that.
I will say easily enough, you catch the woman's attention in just like calling for it.
That's true, love. He doesn't
She
like.
kind of like stomps, staring at the wall for a moment,
But he does like
blinks,
popping fingers.
and she just kind of like turns her head to look at you guys. She doesn't say anything, but you think you have her attention.
How long have you been in here?
Reading on the matching.
Long?
How many days have you been in here?
She kind of like stops. I can't say. I remember it was dark when they took me, and
Why'd they take you?
weeks.
Why'd they take you?
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check. Oh wait, you know it's a DC 15. It's a bit tougher.
Can I give her a help action?
Yes, you can. Yeah, Elizabeth having.
Does that mean a reroll?
Yes. Yeah.
Raise the load. 'cause I
Reroll,
got
take
three.
the better. Yeah.
That's 12.
A 12.
Do you have
12 is get you
no,
see
I have +1. You're in Rome, woman.
the only one who knows the machination of a madman's mind is darkness itself.
Those are good.
Kind of like her head slowly starts rolling back up towards the ceiling.
I thought you were gonna say all the way. I was like, what the heck?
Oh, we gotta get out of here. Yeah, but you see, it's that like she looks very out of it and just starts looking back up the ceiling.
Oh,
Has anyone left
Right there.
since you?
She kind of like stuck. Not alive.
I'm getting
Where
the
do they
blue
keep the
star
keys?
from Super Mario Bros.
She stops.
vibes.
The guards hold the keys. We're let out once every couple of days to work in the other room, and then we come back.
What?
What work do you do in the other room?
Grinding, walking, grinding, walking.
What are you grinding?
Jinx.
She just kind of shrugs. I don't know.
But
It's
it's stone.
important enough to kill us for it.
Awesome. I really don't.
Ooh,
like
can
this
I
game.
make a check? Because Bob and I were the ones who like saw the whole mystical paint or whatever. Is whatever compound they're grinding like a component in whatever's making the paint?
Also, it's a free check. Yeah, you could easily assume. I mean, talking about painting, and this is where it seems they were coming from, for sure.
You're trying so hard. I want you to say hi.
Oh, I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to
I'm
do.
debating what I want to do about that.
Gotcha.
So what about the paint?
Does Does
We
she
don't know what it
any-
does, but it's
Right. I don't think you've told the rest of your friends that
Yeah.
part of what you saw.
Can I
Does
ask?
she know what the paint does?
Yeah, if she knows what the paint is for.
I don't. They simply give it to the other workers who take it out of here.
Can you remind me what you guys are talking
Is
about? with
there
the
like any of
It's
the
like
like
light
dust
up
from the grinding on her?
Disappears after.
Because like she consistently does
I
this
will
and
let
then
you
rubbed off
know
onto her.
there is nothing on her. Like she looks spotless.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
They're
Like she doesn't look
Can
at
I
all
do an
injured.
insight
or-
check?
It's. I will say, yeah. Make
To
an
see-
insight check.
Like, is she an actual prisoner? Like,
I like it, yeah,
Or
is-
any other information I can gauge.
I think
but
for sure.
I could
Especially
see.
what's
I
up
could see
there,
August
like-
throwing in a fake prisoner just
Just
to
like psych
to
you
fuck
out.
with us.
Oh, yeah, get down here. No,
That's
yeah.
really clever.
For sure. And I will say, as a party, also, you can choose to let either Moses sleep it off, or you could use an action to wake him up if people want
I
to.
almost feel like we could let his body rest.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it might be
Hey,
good.
bud, you like were
You need to
out.
sleep it off. I kind of feel that
Yeah,
too.
we-
I'm not
are we
sure I want
planning on
gossip right now. I
staying
think I feel a little salty about everyone being like, yes, let's go to Egypt. It's a great idea. And somebody not saying that
I'm
might be a
also
bad
worried
idea.
We needed to
that
go
if
to
he's
Egypt.
awake, that he'll be
20
You
in
could have warned us,
danger,
bro.
or if like
Bob,
somebody came back in,
you
he'd be
look
more
at
in
her
danger 'cause he's a
and
target.
start looking at all the rest of the inmates, kind of that, like, very much, it's very comedic of, like, oh, I don't have a good view from you, like, hop 2 feet outside of the cage entirely, just, like, look down.
That was vegetarian.
You're
Like,
so
you
cute.
went, like, completely
awesome.
out of the cage, look
Oh,
down.
I see now. Pop back.
And yeah, every single inmate looks perfectly spotless.
So
Like, you've never
they
been to
use
a prison where they
prestidigitation or something
clean
to
people, right?
clean
Like,
the prisoners so they don't have any remnants of the paint.
exactly.
So during this conversation with this despondent woman, is the crazy man saying anything? Can I
The
investigate his
crazy man,
reaction?
he seems to be just kind of like fiddling with his nails, that very like,
Wait,
Fiddle.
sensory cake.
Wait. If it's something that they're grinding, so there's gonna be dust in the air. Have you got okay? So I
I'm just
recently
saying-
tried to spray paint my hair pink recently, and
Do you
I
think
was
they're high
sneezing
off of
pink
it?
for a while. I'm wondering if there's some traces of it in her nose.
in her nose.
Yes.
You might have to get to her cage though to
Okay,
examine
good
that.
luck.
I can get to her cage.
All right. Can you get to
Bob?
that?
I wanna,
You are very persuasive. Could you convince her
Yeah.
to like?
Can I say I'm
Wipe
impressed
her
with
nose.
all of us not making any jokes about grinding?
I was
know.
waiting.
Now
to-
you
I
have.
actually.
Well, But
That was
like,
one of those
in
things for the day,
character,
I'm
I was
like,
like,
it's gonna
who wouldn't?
happen.
So I didn't say anything, but
So can I cautiously enter her cage because she's looking
Yeah.
at us?
Yeah.
I also have,
in
I'm
our
sorry, that's my
direction.
phone.
She
I also have
noticed it
skull,
again. Not a
pink
lot of
ice
like
cream cones.
reaction of seeing you
Sure.
bounce over. It's just that like, okay, I guess you're a
Words.
tomato.
Can I like do a closer inspection to see if I can find any residue or leftover dust?
Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
And can I ask her for
Yes.
the help advantage?
So it's
Uh,
different, yes, okay.
I will let you know. You would first have to make a successful persuasion check to
Yeah,
get her
it's
to
true.
help you.
Can I
But I
try
just
it,
want
actually?
something
Yeah,
cute.
go for it.
Anyway.
So first, Bob, you're gonna
I'm
persuade
giving
the woman
you guidance
to
that you can use on either the persuasion or the investigation.
yeah, D4 for either.
16 persuasion.
16 persuasion. Yeah, she'll kind of say, "What do you want?"
You know, as I inspect the different parts of your body, just hold them open for me. So like, just hold your nostrils open. Okay, open your mouth. Like that kind of thing.
He's a
This
doctor.
woman like stopped
Tulio straight
hearing
up
the
tells
word.
her he's a doctor.
Nice. That's clever.
I've suffered enough humiliation, and widens her nostrils for you. As for anyone else, like, wow, this is depressing, but okay, good.
Very
D&D terms,
depressing.
we're doing great. Yeah, go ahead, Bob. Make an investigation check.
But also, just for clarification, I was sneezing pink for 3 days after I had cleaned my hair.
You said I got the help
So-
action, right?
Got the
And my guide.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was
got it,
starting to
yeah.
get
Okay, that
concerned.
was in that one. So on the first one. So
the first one, Bob. You go in and two, and she sneezes.
Well,
no,
that's
wait, I was switching to real dice.
That was two nat ones.
see, I've done that 3 times.
Does anybody have?
I think it works though in the sense of Bob. You look. Even her nostrils are spotless. Like
Ugh.
these people are kept eerily, grossly clean.
Yeah. It's like they do the grinding and the guards
Do they
just like
hose you off
scrub 'em
after you're
out.
done grinding?
Imagine.
Oh.
Probably some form of prestidigitation. You know, a cantrip of like we can just literally say nothing. Which, in normal terms, it's like, yeah, it's nice to be clean. It's somehow odd to see this on inmates.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
It's usually
Very
kept
clinical.
dirty.
Cutting back again,
Throw the
Tulio,
cat
Bob,
out.
Nana, as you guys kind of like finishing up, Elizabeth, Hunk,
So
and
did we ever make a check on them being out of it because they're
He's
helping
still
with
just like,
stuff
why did you do that?
unintentionally?
I think
Or
Bob
is
made
this
the
just
insight
like-
check. It doesn't look like they're high off this stuff. It just
Okay.
looks like it is that
So-
very demoralized
Okay.
despond.
So it's not anything like weird going on. It's just like
Yeah,
Yes.
I was just hoping we
Based
could
on
get
life sucks.
traces of it so we could maybe do a con
Were
check
there
or
any
something.
defining features of the old man?
The older man seems to just be like one of those. He's got that very like scraggly, peppery blonde, long beard now. The very like wiry hair, wild eye as he kind of like fidgets to himself. Doesn't
And I
seem
say, hey, Pepperbeard. Scragglebeard.
he
Meet your
kind of like
beard friend.
pokes his head a little bit as close as he can outside the cage, looking.
What can you tell me about what you're grinding?
Like, no, Mom.
Grind, grind,
Grind.
grind, grind stone, grind.
What kind
Grind
of
the stone, mix the paint, and then you go off on your day, and then they put you back to work. And he kind of like refocuses a little bit on that one nail, going back to it.
What is the paint used for?
Oh,
Painting
What are they painting?
I
everything.
think that he has anything under his nail still that he's messing with.
Oh.
You could try.
Is there something underneath your nails, sir?
No.
There totally is.
Bob,
Thanks
go
for
check
that
it out?
hint, August.
Can I go check it out?
He's gonna hop over.
He might try to smoosh you.
Yeah.
He's gonna attack you for a nat 3 as he just immediately takes his foot and tries to kick you out of the way.
That's
Just
funny.
get back! Wah! And just like foot goes as hard as can, but completely misses you.
I love
Can
that.
I cast a spell?
Yeah, what spell are you gonna try cast?
Calm
In
animal.
his laughter.
Okay, go ahead and make me an Arcana check.
That feels mean.
I just want an old man cackling down.
I want to hear August cackle.
I mean, to be fair, that's such a like cliche prison, like, and there's the old coot, like you know, just kind of like over in the corner.
6 Arcana.
Six, your spell
One dice.
fizzles out from before your eyes.
Interesting.
First time it's happened for you.
Yeah.
As you go to cast the spell
you
and
want
it
a
doesn't
set of
work,
dice?
he's
Can
gonna try to kick you again.
Okay.
He has to go get his
That
gonna
is
say,
going to
I
be a
have red dice.
16 to hit, so his unarmed strike is a 1 plus his -1 strength, so it can only do a base of 1. So you take 1 point of damage as he kind of like kicks you and you feel a little bruised.
Can I look under his nail?
Yeah, go and make me investigation check. Just that like, as he kicks you, like kind of up in the air, like.
And I kicker, sir.
It's like
16.
come back around to his turn. Can I get my guy?
You want this, William?
Yes, I see what you
He's
So
coming
you
towards
can get
us.
another D4
Cool.
for that.
You want to
Yeah.
come here? Go.
Underneath his nails
There you
looks
go.
spotless. As it might be that just pure insanity
Yeah.
of maybe I got something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, you're good. I'm sorry.
Huh.
So they clean them magically after they grind. Honestly, I want to go do a grinding shift and figure out what the heck is going on. That's probably not the right attitude.
Yeah.
That might not- yeah, that might not.
See,
Can
part of
I
me
be
thinks the longer we stay here, the more likely we all are to just get murdered. But also, like, if the magical, mysterious paintings on the ground are something that would interfere with an escape, we should probably know about it, right?
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm even, like,
Moses.
contemplating sticking around.
After about an hour, again, you guys spending this hour, it takes a while. Nana slowly tearing off this rope because every 15 minutes a guard will pass by going back from that room forward. But again, tearing it, looking around, starting to talk to the inmates. Moses, after an hour, you will naturally awaken then.
Okay.
Good luck.
Can I mark it as a short rest?
Uh,
Hit die?
Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw
Good job. You want
and see if you were able to
Oh, that was
rest
cute.
during this rest.
He wants
Uh,
Alrighty. Well, that is a 16.
You want right dice?
You
Use
are
for Bob.
successfully
Okay, I'll
able
go
to.
grab mine.
Okay.
It's you do not have any nightmares even on the short rest. You are totally fine.
You might want to put your dice on the table just as a heads up.
Thank you.
He has been. I watched Will.
Oh yeah,
he
you
like
walked
looks at people
right
and I'm
over to them. It was
Oh.
awesome.